Every room you step into, there's someone already measuring you. They don't care who you really are. They care how you make them feel taller. That's the truth no one admits. Your worth, your ideas, your presence, all weighed against their secret hunger to feel above you. This is the ego trap, the silent game you've been losing for years because you never knew it was happening. You thought you were having conversations. You were in auditions. You thought you were connecting. You were performing. Keep ignoring this, and you'll stay their puppet forever. Here's the twist that stings the most. Your biggest enemy isn't them. It's your need to prove you're not below them. That hunger makes you obvious, predictable, easy to bait. They'll keep throwing little jabs. You'll keep barking back. They'll watch you reveal every insecurity you pretend you don't have. They won't have to crush you. You'll do it yourself. So remember this. In a room full of egos, the loudest one is always the weakest. Stay loud. Stay easy to break. Stay still. And watch how the power flips. Listen closely next time they speak. Really listen. Hear that slow, patient laugh. That upward tilt of the chin. That nice idea they toss at you like a scrap. It's not praise. It's bait. They know exactly what they're doing. They drip subtle condescension into every sentence because they want you to bite. They want you to prove yourself, to justify your existence. Every time you explain your worth, you're building their throne higher. Every word you defend, they use to cage you tighter. They tilt their head like they care. They nod slowly, like they're wise. But behind that calm smile is a calculation. How much of you can they control without ever raising their voice? You think you're in a conversation. You're not. You're on their stage. You're the performer. They're the judge. And the more you dance for their approval, the more you reveal exactly where your weak points are. They don't dominate you by yelling. They dominate you by getting you to talk, to react, to overexpose your mind, your pride, your desperation to be seen as equal. And here's the part that should burn a little. You hand them the script. They don't need to guess what buttons to push. You show them. You guide them. You arm them with your own words. Stay blind to this, and you'll keep dancing like a puppet, wondering why you feel so small every time you leave the room. Learn to see it, and you'll see them for what they really are. A cheap illusion with no power unless you hand it to them. You think strength is volume. You think the louder you speak, the more they'll respect you. But the louder you get, the more desperate you look. The more you react, the more you reveal. They want you loud. They want you defending, correcting, flexing, because every word you spit out is free intelligence. It tells them what you fear, what you crave, where you're weak. Watch how the fake kings play it. They lean back, they stay calm, they act like your storm doesn't touch them, because they know something you don't. The performer always bows to the observer. They don't have to be smarter. They just have to make you do the work. You think you're fighting them. You're really fighting your own ego. Ever wonder why the most strong people still get handled by silent operators? It's because noise is obvious, it's predictable, it's easy to counter. A barking dog is easy to cage, but a calm wolf, you never see the teeth until they're at your throat. Silence isn't weakness. It's the knife you hide under the table. While you throw punches, they count them. While you shout, they listen for tremors in your voice. While you insist you're right, they study your need to be right. And they turn that hunger into a chain around your neck. That's the fatal flaw. Most people want to be seen as untouchable, so they keep broadcasting how strong they are. But real power doesn't explain itself. Real power doesn't argue with noise. Real power sits still, takes notes, and makes one move when you're least ready for it. So you pound your chest, and they nod politely. You brag about your vision, and they keep their eyes down. You think they're intimidated. They're just collecting the map of your mind. Your habits, your pride, your fragile spots. Every boast is a breadcrumb. Every rant is a confession. And when the time is right, they use that map to blindside you. Why do strong people lose? Because they mistake resistance for dominance. They think pushing back makes them untouchable. But the game was never about who pushes hardest. It's about who sees the field clearer. Who lets the other man push until he collapses from his own momentum. That's the paradox they never teach you. Stillness is a weapon. Restraint is leverage. The man who can't shut up hands his strategy to his enemy. The man who can't sit still gives away his next move before he makes it. And the man who must look strong all the time is already owned, because the moment he looks weak, he shatters. So if you're tired of losing battles you thought you'd already won, shut up. Sit back. Let them think you're harmless. Let them think you're soft. Let them think you're beneath them. Because while they perform for applause, you're building the blade that cuts them down when they least expect it. That's not cowardice. That's not passivity. That's reverse dominance. And once you taste it, you'll never want to roar again. They don't overpower you head on. They don't need to. They just poke at your pride. A passive-aggressive jab here. A mocking compliment there. They watch your eyes twitch. They watch your throat tighten. They're not attacking you. They're fishing. Your ego does the rest. Your pride takes the bait because it can't stand feeling small. It has to rise. It has to prove. And that's the exact moment they know they've got you. Think back. Ever been in an argument you could have walked away from, but didn't? That's the trap. You felt your status threatened, so you defended it. You explained, you justified. The more you spoke, the more ground you lost. Because every word out of your mouth is proof you care what they think. And that's all ego-driven predators need. Your need to be seen. People think manipulation is some dark ritual. It's not. It's a loop. They bait you with doubt. They nudge your pride. They whisper, "You're not good enough. Prove you are." And you do. You dance for approval you never needed. The more you prove, the smaller you look. You think you're defending yourself, but you're feeding them ammo. They love when you over-explain. It's a signal. It says you need validation. It says you're not as solid as you act. So they keep you talking, keep you explaining, keep you reacting, and all the while they stay still. The quiet one in the room always holds the knife. While you're spilling your guts, they're reading the map of your insecurities. Understand this. An ego trap doesn't feel like a fight. It feels like a conversation, a backhanded compliment, a fake smile. They won't say, "You're beneath me." They'll make you feel it. A slight pause before they respond. A patronizing nod. A smirk when you try to make your point. And you? You'll take the bait every time. If you don't see the game, you'll try to out-talk them. You'll try to be the loudest in the room. You'll try to be the smartest, the funniest, the sharpest. You think you're climbing higher, but really you're putting yourself lower because you're dancing to their tune. They're not blocking you. You're blocking yourself. Once you see the pattern, it's everywhere. Look at the person who always one-ups your story. Look at the boss who compliments you just enough to keep you loyal, but never enough to make you confident. Look at the so-called mentor who keeps reminding you how far behind you are. Same game, same loop, same result. They keep you performing. So here's the reality. Your ego wants to be seen, heard, respected now. It wants to be crowned king before it's earned the throne. But when you walk into a room desperate for that crown, you'll bend your neck for anyone who dangles it. You'll let them steer you, mock you, use you. Your desire to look strong makes you weak. Your fear of looking weak makes you easy prey. Once you realize this, you stop giving them the show. You stop reacting to the jab. You stop defending the insult. You stop explaining who you are. Because the moment you stop feeding them, they starve. The ego trap collapses when you refuse to play. And the best part? They never see it coming. They're so used to you explaining yourself that your silence hits them like a punch in the throat. Now they're exposed. Now they're loud. Now they're sloppy because the performer can't stand a dead audience. And you're untouchable because you finally saw how the trap works and stepped right over it. Stay quiet. Let them talk. Let them believe you're not a threat. The moment you stop performing for their approval, you start pulling the strings. They think they're in control because you're not defending yourself. They think you're beneath them because you're not biting back. Good. Keep it that way. Silence is your armor. Stillness is your trap. While they're so busy proving they're smarter, stronger, better, you're just watching, collecting their blind spots like trophies. They think they're showing off. They're actually leaking secrets they'd guard with their life if they saw you as competition. Arrogance always leaks. It brags too much. It tries too hard. It gets drunk on its own performance and forgets the walls have ears. And you are the wall. You're the quiet space they forget to watch. The moment they think you're harmless, they stop protecting their ego. They drop hints. They show their weaknesses. They boast about their next move. That's when you see the real game. Most people can't do this. Their pride screams too loud. They need to be heard, validated, crowned right now. But if you can hold your tongue, if you can stand the discomfort of being underestimated, you'll see what they can't hide. The fake laugh, the overcompensation, the insecurity behind their bragging. It's all there if you're still enough to catch it. They'll never suspect the quiet one. They think you're clueless. They think you're behind, so they take their guard down. They open doors you were never supposed to see, and when it's time to move, they'll never understand how you knew exactly where to strike. So stay quiet. Let them perform. Let them think they're untouchable. Let them run their mouth until they've built your entire playbook for you. This is strategic invisibility. You're not gone. You're right there. Just invisible enough for them to forget how dangerous you really are. Most people think reading people is about big gestures and obvious clues. It's not. The real story leaks out in micro reactions. The slight twitch in an eye when they feel threatened. The flicker of a fake smile when they think they're winning. It's in the way their pupils dilate when they lie, how their shoulders lift just a little when they're bluffing confidence they don't have. Dominance makes people sloppy. When someone feels bigger than you, they stop being careful. They overexpose. They overtalk. They can't stand silence, so they fill it with too much detail, unnecessary boasts, backstories you never asked for. That's where the real gold is buried, in the words they didn't plan to say. You don't need to perform. You don't need to one-up their story or match their volume. You just have to watch. Because while they put on a show for the room, you're collecting their patterns one by one. You notice how they glance sideways when they're unsure, how they lower their voice when they're lying, how their hands fidget when they're desperate to convince you they don't care. Never fight for the spotlight. Become the shadow that swallows it. Let them stand center stage, dancing for validation. You are the quiet echo that remembers every misstep, every contradiction. They brag about their power, and you catch the tremor in their throat that says otherwise. They mock your silence, but they don't see you piecing together the puzzle they're too arrogant to hide. This is reverse intelligence in action. It's not about controlling them outright. Not yet. It's about seeing them clearly enough that, when you do move, you're striking an exposed nerve, one they didn't even know they left uncovered. You're not just reading words, you're reading breath, tension, the speed of their speech when they get excited, the forced calm when they feel challenged. You're mapping who they really are beneath the mask they wear for the world. They'll underestimate you right up until you pivot. That's what makes it brutal. They think you're clueless. They think you're passive. They think they're winning. And all along, you're building a private dictionary of their mind. One tick, one smirk, one forced chuckle at a time. This isn't about being cold. It's about being ready. So next time you feel the urge to prove yourself, don't. Just watch. Let them run their mouth. Let them feel dominant. Let them think the silence means they've won. Because when they finally see the move you make, it'll be too late to hide anything. You'll have read the whole book before they knew you could read at all. Most people hate the idea of looking weak. They flinch at the thought of being underestimated. But that fear is exactly what keeps them stuck in the trap. Always defending, always performing, always giving the other side free intel. You want a real edge? Learn to look harmless on purpose. Let their ego swell around you like a snake swallowing its own tail. When they think you're weak, they stop watching their back. They speak freely, they brag louder, they mock you right to your face because your submission makes them feel untouchable. And that's where they slip. Because arrogance is a mask that blocks caution. The second they think they've already won, they start leaking the secrets they'd never give you if they saw you as a threat. Submission invites arrogance. Arrogance invites exposure. You weaponize their ego by feeding it. Let them believe they've outclassed you. Let them believe you admire them. Let them think you're the naive fool who'll never figure it out. You're not giving up the game. You're laying the perfect trap. This is sabotage in plain sight. Your silence, your nods, your fake agreement, they're not submission, they're anesthesia. They put the giant to sleep while you study every move. Every time they interrupt you, every time they throw you a condescending pat on the back, you absorb the rhythm of their pride. You map where they're strongest, where they're softest, and where they'll never see you coming. Most people can't do this because they can't swallow their ego. They feel the need to clap back, to set the record straight, to show they're not beneath anyone. That's pride talking, and pride is bait for every manipulator alive. The real strategist knows the truth. Your fake submission costs you nothing but gives you everything. Let them sit there smug and sure of themselves. Let them look away when you talk. Let them think your silence is proof you've got nothing. And watch. Watch how they start to relax. Watch how they start to slip. Watch how they reveal more than they should. Because the ego wants to show off. And it can't resist an easy audience. One day they'll realize the smile you gave them was the blade they never saw. One day they'll replay every word you didn't say and wonder what you were really thinking. That's when they understand it wasn't weakness. It was warfare. You used their own hunger for validation to poison them from within. So next time you feel disrespected, don't flinch. Don't bark back. Don't roar to look strong. Sit still. Let them crown themselves king. Let them laugh at your quiet. And when they're convinced you're harmless, that's when you twist the knife. Because real power isn't loud. It's the silence that shatters them when they realize you were never under them. You were beneath their guard the entire time. They think you're too quiet, too agreeable, too easy to read. Good. Let them think it. Every ego in the room wants you to challenge them. That's how they keep you performing, but you won't. You're about to flip the scene without them even realizing it. They correct you mid-sentence? Nod. Smile. Let them finish like they're the teacher and you're the clueless kid. Inside, you're watching for the cracks in their story. You're listening for the words they repeat, the lies they sell to themselves to feel big. They drop names to look important. Feed it back. Wow, they must trust you a lot. How did you pull that off? Now they're hooked on their own performance. They don't see that you're mapping the entire battlefield while they brag. They think they're schooling you when really they're stripping naked in front of your calm mind. The moment they feel safest is the moment they're weakest. Because their guard is down. Their arrogance is up. And your silence is squeezing every drop of intel they leak. This is psychological judo. Most people never realize the trap isn't the other person's ego. It's their own. They get baited because they still need to be seen, to look strong, to prove they're untouchable. But the real untouchable mind doesn't prove anything. The moment you stop defending your pride, you stop feeding theirs. When someone tries to provoke you, they're fishing for the part of you that still doubts itself. That need to explain, to clarify, to correct them, that's the bait they live on. So you starve them, you learn to feel the sting and let it burn out quietly inside you. That's the real kill shot. Not rage, not noise, but silence, sharpened into a blade. So stay silent when they bait you. Stay still when they flaunt. Smile when they mock you. Let them think they've won every round. And when the right moment comes, don't warn them. Don't argue. Don't ask for respect. Just flip the scene and watch their ego choke on its own arrogance.